right, we are live. Um, Thank you all for being here. I want to welcome you all to the Hollis's Open Space Plan Community Conversation. This is a really important opportunity for you all in the community to have a say in your community and where we're going from here. So my friends will introduce in a moment from the Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission are going to be going into a little bit more of what an open space plan is. But essentially, this is a blueprint for how Hollis chooses to manage its open space, which can include forest land, farmland, access to the Saco River, really any place that a house is not built on. So it's really important. So this is going to be a reflection of what all you want to see in your community. So it's really important for us to hear from you. A little bit of housekeeping. There are restrooms in the back there, but through that door, there is plenty of food in back. For everyone that's joining us online, Hollis is not very large. If you would like to get in your car and drive down and get some food, there's plenty of food here. And we have a raffle. So if you have not filled out a raffle ticket, there is a cardboard box over near the entrance. Fill your name out in there, and someone here will be walking away with a brand new Hollis Conservation t-shirt. So again, if you are watching online and you want a chance to win the t-shirt, hop in your car and come on in. Otherwise, if you're online, we're thankful that you are here joining us virtually as well. So as I said, our friends at the Southern Maine Plan Development Commission are going to be guiding us through this exercise and through this presentation. I'm going to explain a little bit of what open space plan is and how it's developed and how your input and what your priorities, how they get reflected in the open space plan. So I'll invite Jamel and Malia and Mar. I'm not sure it's coming up, but Marcho is here. So thank you all for being here. And I'll be joining you guys out there. So thanks again.
Thanks, Lee. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. We're really excited to be here and excited to hear from you all about this project. So my name is Jamel Torres. I'm the Land Use Division Director at Southern Maine Planning and Development Commission. We've assisted the town on many other projects, but we're really excited to work with you all on the first open space plan for Hollis. It's really exciting for us to be here and assist with this project. We also have Malia Cordero, who's a planner in our office, and Mar Fink, who's also a planner in our office. So there's a team of 3 of us. Where do I point this? All right. So just an overview of what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to do some introductions, including introducing all of you. We look forward to hearing from you. We have a presentation and group discussion, and then we're going to go to a poster activity for you all to give us some thoughts and feedback on what's important to you related to open space planning, and then we'll talk about wrap up and next steps. So there aren't that many people, so I think we can do around the room. It'd be great if you could just tell us who you are, any organization or affiliation with the town, or whether you're just here as a citizen. So let's start with this gentleman in the orange shirt, and we'll just go around quickly, name, affiliation.
I've lived here all but 6 months of my life, which were, I'm sorry, in Gorham.
I'm Emily Skokie. I'm a resident.
Peter Skokie, I'm a resident, also an avid paddler on the Saco River.
Lou Provost, a resident and part of the Hollis Conservation Committee.
Joanne Toon, resident and Hollis Conservation Commission.
Beverly Harris, resident.
Gail Drown, resident, 46 years, and have canoed most of the river also.
Peter Catrone, resident.
Joy Catrone, resident. Mary Hoffman. I was on the select board, but now I'm a resident.
Good evening, I'm Don Moran. I'm a Hollis resident. I'm on the Finance Committee, and I also have a conservation easement on my farm with the Maine Farmland Trust.
My name's Mike Harnois. I'm on the select board currently.
Terry Walters, resident.
Catherine Hewitt, Conservation Commission.
Dan Urumian, resident and select board.
Sarah Sorensen Kopi, resident and on the Hollis Conservation Commission.
John Matro, ex-chairman of the Hollis Conservation Commission and creator of Indian Cellar Park and Guggen's Woods.
I'm Doris Luther, resident and member of the Conservation Commission.
Hi, Ruth Levitt, member of Hollis Conservation.
Rick Smart, I'm a resident.
Marguerite, I'm a resident.
My name is Gilman Cole. I live on East Old Alfred Road. So lucky to live right next to the Indian Cellar.
Mar Fink from Southern Maine Planning and Development.
And back to you, Jamel.
All right. I love it. There are two kids here. I don't want to put them on the spot, but we're happy that you're here. So thanks for being here. We're doing this for you guys. So thanks for everybody for introducing. It's just nice for us to hear who you are and who you represent. So really appreciate that. So we're going to go into an overview, but before that, we do want to just talk about what an open space plan is. We've been working with the Conservation Commission for about a half a year now, and we're about halfway through the project timeline. So we're doing community engagement and public workshop. And we do want to just note that if you haven't taken the community survey, please do take it. It'll be open for, let's call it a month or two more. We've gotten 60 responses, 72 responses, which I think is pretty good, especially before an event like this. So if you haven't taken it and you have your phone, please buzz that QR code and take the survey. It's really helpful to hear from you and help shape the work. So we're going to bug you about it a bunch more times. So if you've taken it already, we're sorry. And I think I'll pass it to Malia.
And we do have that QR code again at the end of the presentation. So if you didn't grab the QR code, then we'll have it up again later. So here's an outline of the plan document.
You want to stand here?
So the plan will open with the executive summary. That'll provide an overview of the plan, the process, and the results. The next section will be a bit about what open space planning in Hollis is and how the town defines it and what their goals are for Hollis's future. We'll do a section about how the plan was developed, an overview of the community engagement activities, a summary of the public survey, which is the one that links to online. We also have paper copies by the door if you prefer to fill it out that way. And then the open house is this community listening session here tonight. So thanks for all being here. Next section will be the overview and background. That goes over the existing conditions in town, the local regulations, and then the local and regional partnerships that the town is currently engaged with or would like to be make future connections with. Next, we'll talk about the future of open space planning in Hollis. That'll be about the focus areas that we determine from the past work that was done by the Conservation Commission, as well as the community feedback that we'll be receiving tonight. One of our posters over there that we'll all head over toward after this presentation is about focus areas and where you think the focus of our work should be moving forward. Next is the goals, strategies, and priorities. Then we'll put those all into an implementation matrix, which is going to be a big table showing the different goals, the parties that would be interested, timeline, funding, those sort of factors, priority level, potentially. And then we'll also include an appendix that'll include the different maps that you're seeing here tonight, some other maps that show existing conditions in town. We'll also include all the big data tables there so we can keep that all sort of out of the body of the plan and make that a little more approachable for the rest of the town. So that is the outline of the plan. Next, we wanted to talk about what some of the open space values are here in town. I'm sure plenty of these words sound familiar to lots of you. They're from the survey results. So we have wildlife, nature, natural, grassy plains, future generations, no subdivisions, preservation. So these are just some of the ideas that came to mind when folks answered this survey question. And why this is important to the plan is that we really want the plan to be reflecting the values of the town. Next, the plan will define what open space is to Hollis. We have a different definition for every community because it's up to the community how they want to define the area based on their priorities, based on their vision for the future, and sort of what's important to them in that local area. So for Hollis, for example, they really wanted to emphasize the Saco River, so we made sure to include that there. And we also wanted to include thoughtful, sustainable growth, thinking about how we might be encouraging like small businesses, certain types of different housing and where that goes. So being thoughtful and sustainable there. And then, yeah, we have that note toward the bottom about how different areas can define their open space. And for the town here, we'll be defining open space as both public and private lands because we want to acknowledge that private lands can also contribute a lot to the environment and to open space recreation and those sort of things. The vision statement from the Conservation Commission is that Hollis will thoughtfully balance growth and conservation by protecting open spaces that define the town's rural identity. Through local stewardship and sustainable land use decisions, these spaces will protect clean water, wildlife habitat, historic resources, and the Saco River and other vital waterways while supporting recreation, health, and long-term community well-being. I think it came out pretty good. Next, we just wanted to give a couple examples of maps that will be included in the plan and that will give our readers sort of a broad overview of what's going on in town. So this one shows the different watersheds that the town is connected with, the main one being the Saco River that we all love. And then we also have some connections with the Ossipee River. Did I pronounce that right? Okay. This one talks about habitat connectivity. We have a focus area of statewide importance at the south edge of town, that being the Massabesic Forest. And then at the north end of town, we have the Killick Pond area. This map shows the different water resources. This is based off of the town's shoreline zoning map and the different categories that are defined there. For high-value habitats, we wanted to show a list of the different rare, endangered, threatened, and species of concern plants and animals in Hollis. So in that upper left corner, a lot of them are what I would call bugs. And then we also have some snakes, birds. I believe this sleepy dusky wing is a type of moth. Moth? Or dragonfly, maybe? So those pink shaded areas are just areas where endangered species have been found. We don't have it labeled just for the species privacy. And then we also have deer wintering areas there in the brown shading. Those sort of green, glowy road segments are going to be your road crossing areas. So those are particularly important in spring. I know we just came out of big night season, if any of you are familiar with the amphibian road crossings. Next in this map, in those yellow areas, those are going to be the areas of town that are undeveloped. So I'm sure this is one of everyone's favorite parts of Hollis, is that there's so much green space. And then the green hatched areas there are areas that are formally conserved. Next, we have some topography, some trails, ATV trails, some of which are also snowmobile trails in the wintertime. And then we wanted to also get an idea of who's in the room tonight. We had a sign-in sheet going around. If you haven't filled that out, please fill it out on your way back or on your way out. So why we want this to be a collaborative effort is that because open space in Hollis isn't managed by any single group or entity. Instead, it's shaped by many different groups, many different perspectives, with many different roles. So there in the bullet list, we have some examples of those different roles and responsibilities. And the overarching goal of the plan is going to be to reflect a full range of these community needs and values. So your input will inform the plan by identifying important open spaces, highlighting areas of opportunity or concern, understanding how open spaces are used today, shaping future priorities and focus areas, and it'll help anticipate future open space needs. And next, we're into the group discussion, which I think is back to you.
All right, thanks, Malia. A lot of good information. So at this point, before we move to the poster activities, we do want to just ask some questions to you all, since you all took the time to come here. And the first one is, what types of recreation should the plan support, such as walking, hiking, fishing, paddling, boating, ATV, snowmobiling, etc.? So if you'd like to share your input, please raise your hand and Malia will hand you the mic.
So I just want to say mountain biking is extremely popular right now. It's very untaxing to the land if done right, and I'm a big fan. And I do a lot of mountain biking in the Indian Cellar, out and around West Hollis. And we'd like to continue that trail network and maybe even align with NEMBA, the New England Mountain Bike Association. I think the town of Gorham has a huge presence in that. Gorham Trails, the Moody Trails, maybe 4 or 5, 6 different trail networks.
Are there any formal trails in Hollis?
Yep, for sure. And then, of course, multi-use with the ATVs.
That's great.
Military, I think, is the military area still active? I don't know if you know about that. The Blueberry Plains, is it?
Okay.
Not sure what they call it now. But
Thank you. Anybody else?
Are there any plans or ideas around group gatherings, so like performing arts or groups undercover? These are all individual activities, and I just wondered if, just to encourage community gatherings, if that's part of the plan.
Definitely. I think that could be considered as part of the second question in terms of what are the recreational needs in the community. So it sounds like some sort of pavilion or stage with some, or both, could be added to that list. So that's great. Thanks.
I don't know if you know the answer to this, but I'd like to see a more consistent opening of the boat ramp at the dam, because one year it didn't open at all. It seemed like it didn't open at all, and it seems rather random as to when they open it. I don't know why they left it closed for so long, but that's a nice access point for paddling the river. I think more people would do it if they had more consistent opening.
Is it on public land or is it private?
Don't know the answer.
Okay.
At the double bridges. It's been closed. It just opened. Okay. But years back, it had been closed for most of the season, if not all of it.
This may be beyond the scope, I don't know, but are there any plans to clean up the man-made structures that are in the river? You know, the leftover bridges and concrete structures of human activity in the past that sort of impact your experience as you go down the river?
I am not sure personally, but maybe the Saco River Corridor Commission would know.
Yeah, it might be a different, would that be a different organization? That
I
would-
think so, yeah. Yeah.
In the Saco River specifically, or in other waterways as well?
We can look into that. Yep.
Big changes coming in on the Saco River when the dam goes. They were moving the dam there at Bar Mills. That's going to open that whole upper section of Hollis for the fish that now get stopped at that dam that live down in Skelton Lake, Skelton Pond. They're going to have a whole new habitat up there to spawn in. It's going to be good fly fishing probably up there because I've caught a lot of trout there just below the dam. I've been in Hollis forever, but I used to go there and catch trout down below the dam because they couldn't get up above the dam. But now the hole's going to be taken right back to bedrock. So that's going to be pretty exciting to me. I live right down there within spitting distance of that whole area.
Do you know when that's going to occur?
The other thing is we shouldn't ignore West Hollis along the so-called sand country along Killick Pond area. That's a spectacular piece of Hollis. There's got wildlife over there. This habitat that's unique to almost the world. The sand country, the kettle ponds over there in West Hollis. And I think that should be more accessible. I used to be able to drive anywhere over there when I moved to First Hollis. It's all gated off now. I find that maddening. I talked to the people in the state about that when I was on the Conservation Commission, that they could go around the barriers with their four-wheelers. They said, why don't you buy a four-wheeler? I gave up the conversation. That was an insult that I just couldn't handle. So anyway, that's a little bit of, but I think we should also try to get rid of that National Guard thing over there. I think that should be given to the town. I think that we give up all over the country. We've been giving up military thing back to the people. And I think that should be given back to Hollis. Just some thoughts I've had. Anyway, so be it. Pass it on.
Thank you. Okay. Has it been, the dam's going to be removed? It's been decided?
They've been studying it for some time, but I mean, I don't know the actual date, but there is a meeting here on the 25th on that specific topic. If you want to attend, or certainly you can find the notes from it, but that will affect, the waterway.
Thank you.
And the wildlife, yeah.
There are 3 members tonight here who are members of the decommissioning plan for that dam. And as the lady said, June 25th, there'll be a meeting here. Brookfield's going to give us their plans for the decommissioning. It's going to take place in the year 28. At that time, that whole dam will be removed.
Wow.
That boat launch that the gentleman referred to will be removed. There will be no longer a public boat launch there because the stream flow will not permit a boat launch. So the Brookfield has offered to build us a new boat launch behind us on town property. Now, one of the restrictions is it's going to be a kayak canoe ramp because the bank is so steep. But as part of the negotiations we've gone through, they have decided to build a recreational area for the town of Hollis.
Great.
So I encourage people, if they have any concerns about the Saco River, Brookfields are going to be there with their plan on the 25th. And if you're not here to voice your concerns, then the committee can only do so much.
That's great. I think we'll move on to other questions. Looks like we have one more, actually. Thanks, Malia.
I'm going to double down on what Terry said and get a little more specific. I don't think I'm speaking out of turn by saying that in the conversation we've had in that dam committee that Terry and I am on, it's come up that there should be that there can and probably will be grants of land when Brookfield is done down there. So look to that as being Newtown acquisition of land that is in the path of parks. And it's also come up that we should be master planning that area along with Buxton, which does have a outdoor park on their side and connectivity across the bridge. So there's an opportunity to connect those two with Buxton. But the thing that we really need to be thinking on, and may definitely belong in the open space plan, would be for the town to get behind master planning that area and look at that as a totality of parks with Buxton and come up with ways to make connectivity and water access part of that design.
Thank you. That's really good information and exciting about the dam. A few more questions. We'll just go through all three and we can talk about them. Are there open spaces that feel particularly vulnerable to development? And what projects are already underway that the plan should recognize, such as the dam removal? And what other organizations, programs, or funding opportunities could support conservation efforts in Hollis?
And this would probably be a question for John Medor, but if any of you might know, I think there's opportunities to expand the Indian Cellar Land Trust. Many.
Yeah. Anybody else? I'm not sure if there's a chat. Okay. Thank you.
Rachel Carson Preserve is actually working with the Hollis town to reintroduce the Eastern Cottontail. So that's something to think about where people build close to that property, which is undercover, I believe.
If they talk like this.
Rachel Carson. Yeah.
I'd like to thank whoever helped put the boat ramp in above the West Buxton Bridge, because that is a gorgeous place, and I pull in there on an occasional basis and just enjoy the river floating by.
That's great. Anybody else?
I'm just wondering if anybody in the room tonight has interest in donating land. I mean, or thinking about properties that they really, I think you're asking the question of what kind of properties or programs would we like to have. Is a particular land that people have or know of that they really would like to see conserved, that you're afraid a big development's going to go in, right? That it might be precious, might have a stream through it or something that's special that you might be thinking about wanting to conserve. Please share if you do. That's what we're looking for.
Seems like there's an opportunity to do something behind the town hall here. If there's a boat ramp going in, maybe some accessible trails or something. That could be really cool.
What you just mentioned behind the town hall is probably one of the most ripe for good conservation, good places for us to promote outdoor, and especially considering the potential for Brookfield to actually create a boat ramp down there. There's so much more space back there that could be utilized for things. Could be bike trails, could be walking trails, could be just spaces where people can have picnics by the water, which honestly we don't have, except for Indian Cellar, obviously. But that's really, really ripe for what we could do in this town. So it's exciting.
One other organization in town that does a lot for the town, it causes problems in other ways, but is Poland Springs and the California Fields. And I walk my dog there virtually every day, and you can't believe how many people walk their dogs there, jog there, pike there. So that's a real asset to the town. Like anybody, it's private property. Things change up there. But I think the town needs to work with Poland Springs to let them know what we appreciate that they do for us. But also, I think they have concerns that need to be addressed, and we need to address them.
So I hope that my wife and I haven't jumped the gun by putting a agricultural conservation easement on the farm, because the thing that we wanted to do more than anything else is protect it from development. And we put in our easement, there'll be no windmills, no cell towers, anything like that, other than agriculture and woods. We logged the woods about 10 or 12 years ago. We did it specifically for wildlife. We didn't do it for the value of the oak that was on it. We left the oak there and the hemlock. We did it for wildlife. So Maine Farmland Trust is the folks that we have the easement with. Whether or not that easement now will allow recreation and that kind of thing, I don't know. Maybe we jumped the gun, but if we did, it's too darn late because we've already done it now and it's in perpetuity. We can't change it. Do you know whether or not recreation can take place there now that we've got that easement on it?
I'd have to look at the actual easement language, but I think, in my experience, usually if it's low impact recreation, that they might be open to it. Yeah.
We had the U.S. Department of Agriculture out there about 10 years ago, and to help restore the rabbit to that area, they thought it was conducive to do that, but that's as far as it ever got. So that's an opportunity for you folks too, if you're interested.
Thank you. I'm not sure. Yeah, probably. All right. We can keep going.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I might have missed something, but did your flyer say that there's state funds available for purchase of maybe private lands?
I don't know if our flyer said that, but state funds are paying for the work.
What work would that be?
For the open space plan.
Sure. Yeah, it says state of Maine grant at no cost to taxpayers to put the plan together.
Correct. That's paying for this work. Anybody else before we move on to some logistics and then poster activities?
Just so you were to Terry's comment about Poland Spring, we've talked with Poland Spring. We've had them come here. I'm in touch. Well, the select board put me in touch with the Poland Spring plant manager, and he put me in touch with their conservation manager who manages their lands for the state. And so we are talking with them and trying to see what kind of a partnership we can have with them. And then Lee and I went and met with Presumpscot Land Trust, their executive director, to see what they're in Gorham, they're in Standish, they all have properties, and they do easements, so they own properties. So we're trying to see how we would go about raising funds to purchase land, and what are the resources for our citizens if they want to donate or they know of someone who wants to be involved with trying to conserve some land around. So just awareness that we're working on that.
Awesome. Okay. That's a lot of great info. Thank you. We just want to touch on some next steps. Again, if you haven't taken the survey, that's what this QR code leads you to. There are going to be some materials at the Hollis Community Day in about a month and a half, so there'll be more opportunity to provide feedback and learn about the work. We'll be drafting the plan this fall into winter, and then we'll review the draft plan with the Conservation Commission late this year. And then the plan is to present the plan to the select board in the town in early of 2027. So we're chugging away behind the scenes, and this is all really, really helpful, and a lot of this input will go into the into the plan. So thanks. So I think at this point, we'll move on to the activities. Over by Malia, there's a series of posters with some prompts, asking for some feedback from you all. So it'll be really helpful if you guys could spend some time providing feedback. And there's still, I believe, plenty of pizza and other snacks. So thanks for coming. It's really good to see you all, and we look forward to your feedback. Thanks. Correct. Yep. Please don't leave yet.